The notification popped up on my iPad while I was reviewing quarterly reports at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. My wife Emily's iCloud had synced to the family tablet, something she'd apparently forgotten about after I set it up for our kids last year. The preview showed her in our bedroom mirror. Our bedroom, wearing lingerie I'd never seen before. The angle was deliberate, calculated. But she wasn't alone in the frame. I sat frozen in my home office, the spreadsheet forgotten, staring at the thumbnail. My hand hovered over the screen for what felt like an eternity before I finally opened it. The full image loaded, and my stomach dropped through the floor. Emily was pressed against someone, a man. His face was partially visible over her shoulder, grinning at the camera. The timestamp read 2:47 p.m. today. While I'd been in back-to-back meetings downtown, she'd been in our bed with someone else. I checked the time. 11:14 p.m. Emily was downstairs watching her usual Tuesday night shows. I could hear the faint sound of the TV through the floorboards. Our kids, Olivia and Jack, were asleep down the hall. Everything appeared normal. Everything was a lie. My fingers moved automatically, screenshotting everything before she could delete it. The photo had already uploaded to the shared album, along with, I scrolled down, my heart pounding, 3 others from the same afternoon. Different poses, different angles. Same man, same bedroom. I recognized him from the second photo. Tyler Brennan, the new associate at Emily's law firm. She'd mentioned him exactly twice in the past 3 months, both times dismissively, calling him the kid fresh out of Yale who didn't know how real litigation worked. The kid looked pretty comfortable in my house, in my bed. I forwarded everything to my personal email, then to a cloud storage account Emily didn't know about. My hands were shaking, but my mind had shifted into a strange, cold clarity. 12 years of marriage, 2 kids, a mortgage, joint accounts, her name on everything. How long had this been going on? I opened her messages next. The iCloud sync was comprehensive. I'd set it up that way intentionally when Olivia got her first phone, wanting to monitor what our daughter was exposed to. Emily had laughed about it at the time, joking that I was paranoid. She'd never thought to check if her own messages were syncing too. The thread with Tyler went back 4 months. I scrolled to the beginning, my jaw clenching tighter with each message. Can't stop thinking about this morning. When can I see you again? He's traveling next week. We'll have the whole afternoon. He, that was me. I was he in their conversations. I kept scrolling. The messages were explicit, detailed, shameless. They'd been meeting twice a week, sometimes more. Hotels mostly, but she'd brought him to our house at least 6 times that I could count from the messages. Always on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my longest days at the office. There was more. Plans to leave me. Discussions about how to maximize her settlement in a divorce. Tyler had apparently suggested she document everything that could paint me as an absent father, an inattentive husband. She'd been building a case against me while I'd been working 60-hour weeks to pay for the life she wanted. Once you're free of him, we can finally be together properly, Tyler had written 2 weeks ago. Soon, Emily had replied. I just need to time it right. David's up for partner next month. Once that goes through, his income jumps significantly. Better for child support calculations. I read that message 3 times. She was waiting for me to make partner so she could take more money when she left. The TV went silent downstairs. I heard Emily's footsteps on the stairs, her usual routine. Check on the kids, then come to bed. I closed all the apps and opened my work email, forcing my expression neutral. She appeared in the doorway, wearing the Yale sweatshirt I'd bought her for Christmas. Still working? Just finishing up. My voice sounded normal. I didn't know how. Don't stay up too late. She crossed to kiss my cheek, the same gesture she'd performed thousands of times. Her lips touched my skin and I felt nothing but revulsion. Big day tomorrow? The usual. I met her eyes. She looked the same as always. Beautiful, familiar, completely at ease. How did people do this? How did they lie so effortlessly? I'm exhausted, she said, stretching. Rough day at the office. Tyler messed up the Kensington brief and I spent 3 hours fixing it. Tyler. She said his name without a flicker of guilt. That's frustrating, I said. He's useless. She rolled her eyes. Anyway, I'm going to bed. Love you. Love you too. The words tasted like ash. She left, and I sat in the darkness of my office, listening to her move through our bedroom, the sound of water running in our bathroom, the creak of our bed as she settled in. Our life, built over 12 years, suddenly felt like a stage set, convincing from the audience, but hollow behind the scenes. I pulled up my phone and started making a list. I needed a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, someone who specialized in cases like this. Someone who could protect me, protect my kids, protect everything I'd built. I needed to secure our finances. Document everything. Figure out exactly what I was dealing with before Emily realized I knew. The partner announcement was in 3 weeks. She was waiting for that, which meant I had 3 weeks to prepare for a war she didn't know had already started. I opened a new browser window and began researching divorce attorneys in Atlanta. It was going to be a long night. The next morning, I sat across from Emily at breakfast, watching her butter toast while scrolling through her phone. She'd changed into her charcoal suit, the one she wore for court appearances. Her hair was still damp from the shower. Big day? I asked. Deposition at 9. She didn't look up. Probably won't be home until 7. Olivia spilled orange juice across the table. Emily sighed, grabbed paper towels, and wiped it up with the mechanical efficiency of someone whose mind was elsewhere. Probably on Tyler. Probably on what time they could meet today. I'll handle pickup, I said. You sure? Don't you have that meeting with the partnership committee? Moved it to tomorrow. That got her attention. Her eyes flicked up, sharp and assessing. Why? Wanted to spend time with the kids. I took a bite of eggs, kept my voice level. I've been working too much lately. Something crossed her face. Calculation, maybe concern. After 4 months of building her narrative about my absence, here I was disrupting the script. That's good, she said finally. They miss you. The lie sat between us like spoiled food. I dropped the kids at school and drove to the office, but I couldn't focus. The partnership presentation sat open on my laptop, slides I'd spent weeks perfecting, and all I could think about was Emily in our bedroom with Tyler, the timestamps, the casual cruelty of their messages. Once David makes partner, we can move forward. Just 3 more weeks. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Deposition running long. Don't wait up if I'm late. I stared at the message, then opened the tracking app I'd installed on her phone last night. It had taken me 15 minutes at 3 a.m. standing in our bathroom while she slept 10 feet away. The app ran silently in the background, invisible unless you knew where to look. The little blue dot showed her location. Not at the courthouse. She was at the Residence Inn on Peachtree. I sat there for a long moment, watching the dot. Not moving. Static. Then I forwarded the screenshot to my personal email and deleted it from my phone. At 3:15, I picked up Olivia and Jack from school. Jack wanted to stop for ice cream. Olivia needed poster board for a science project. We went to Target, and I let them pick out whatever they wanted. Markers, stickers, a new soccer ball Jack didn't need. Olivia looked at me strangely when I agreed to the expensive glitter pens. You feeling okay, Dad? Fine. Why? You never let us get the good markers. I ruffled her hair. Maybe I should say yes more often. We got home at 5. I helped Olivia with her poster, something about the water cycle, while Jack built an elaborate fort out of couch cushions. Normal, domestic, the kind of evening Emily would later claim I never participated in. I took photos, lots of them. Olivia holding up her finished poster, grinning. Jack in his fort, wearing a colander as a helmet. Me helping them with homework at the kitchen table. All time-stamped. All saved to a folder I'd created that morning. Evidence, parenting. Emily came home at 7:45. Her hair looked freshly brushed, her makeup reapplied. She smelled like hotel soap. "How was the deposition?" I asked. "Exhausting. The opposing counsel was impossible." She dropped her bag on the counter, kicked off her heels. "What's for dinner?" "Already ate. There's leftover pasta in the fridge." She reheated it in the microwave, scrolled through her phone while she waited. I watched her from the living room, pretending to read the news on my tablet. She was texting someone, her thumbs moving fast. A small smile played at the corner of her mouth. My phone buzzed with an alert from the monitoring software I'd installed on our home computer. Someone had accessed it remotely. Emily's laptop, connecting to our shared drive. I opened the log. She was deleting photos. Specifically, she was going through our family photo albums and removing images where I appeared with the kids. Beach vacation from last summer, gone. Christmas morning, gone. Olivia's birthday party, gone. Building her case, erasing evidence of my involvement. I took a screenshot of the deletion log and saved it to my encrypted cloud storage. "I'm going to bed early," Emily said, scraping her plate into the trash. "I'm wiped out." "Sure, I'll be up in a bit." She kissed the top of my head as she passed, a gesture so automatic it meant nothing. I listened to her footsteps on the stairs, the bathroom door closing, water running. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. "Is this David Winters?" I stared at it. "Yes." "Who is this?" "We need to talk. It's about your wife and Tyler Brennan." My heart kicked against my ribs. "Who is this?" Three dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "Jenna Caldwell. I'm Tyler's girlfriend." Or I was until I found out about Emily. I sat very still. Upstairs, the shower turned on. "How did you get my number?" "Tyler's phone. He doesn't know I have it. Can we meet?" "When?" "Tomorrow, noon. There's a coffee shop on Piedmont near the park. Copper and Oak." "I'll be there." The dots appeared again. "Bring proof if you have it. I want to know everything." I deleted the thread and sat in the dark living room, listening to water run through the pipes overhead. Emily, washing away evidence of the residence inn. Of Tyler. But she'd made a mistake. She'd assumed she was the only one planning, the only one 3 steps ahead. She'd assumed I was too busy, too absent, too focused on making partner to notice what was happening in my own home. I pulled up the tracking app again. The location history showed a pattern. The residence inn on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tyler's apartment on Monday afternoons. Our house on Wednesdays, always between 2 and 4 p.m. when she knew I'd be in back-to-back meetings. 4 months of data, 4 months of evidence. I opened my email and started a new message to the divorce attorney I'd researched last night, Patricia Reeves, known for aggressive representation and airtight custody arguments. The initial consultation was scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m., but I needed to move faster. "Ms. Reeves, I need to move our meeting to tomorrow at 2 p.m. New developments require immediate action. I have documentation of an ongoing affair, evidence of parental alienation tactics, and financial planning discussions that suggest my wife is deliberately timing divorce proceedings to maximize settlement. I need to understand my options before she realizes I know." I attached the deletion log, 3 screenshots of messages between Emily and Tyler, and the location data from today. Then I hit send. The shower shut off upstairs. I heard Emily moving around in the bathroom, the hairdryer humming to life. My phone buzzed. Patricia Reeves, responding at 9 p.m. I can do 2 p.m. tomorrow. Bring everything you have. And David, don't change your behavior. Act normal. The moment she suspects you know, she'll accelerate her timeline. I typed back, understood. Emily came downstairs in her robe, hair wrapped in a towel. You coming to bed? In a minute, just finishing some work. She paused at the bottom of the stairs. You've been different today. My blood went cold. Different how? I don't know. Present, I guess. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It's nice. Trying to be around more, I said. Like you said, I've been working too much. She studied me for a long moment, and I wondered if she could see through it. If 12 years of marriage meant she knew when I was lying the same way I knew when she was. But then she nodded. Well, don't stay up too late. You need sleep. I won't. She went upstairs. I waited until I heard the bedroom door close, then pulled up the messages between her and Tyler again. There was a new one, sent 20 minutes ago. Emily. He's acting weird. Picked up the kids, helped with homework, took a million photos. Tyler. Maybe he's finally stepping up. Emily. Or maybe he suspects something. We need to be more careful. Tyler. You're paranoid. He's clueless. Always has been. Emily. Still. Let's cool it for a few days. No more hotel visits until I'm sure. I read it twice, then saved it to the evidence folder. She was getting suspicious, which meant I had less time than I thought. I opened my calendar and looked at the next 3 weeks. Partnership announcement on the 15th. Emily's plan depended on me making partner first, maximizing her payout. But what if I didn't make partner? What if I withdrew my name from consideration? The idea crystallized slowly. If I wasn't promoted, her entire strategy collapsed. The financial calculations, the timeline, the careful orchestration, all of it hinged on my increased income. I pulled up the partnership committee's contact information and started typing an email. Then I stopped. Not yet. First, I needed to talk to Patricia Reeves. Understand the full legal landscape. Make sure I wasn't shooting myself in the foot. But the option was there. A card I could play if I needed to. I closed my laptop and headed upstairs. Emily was already asleep, or pretending to be, curled on her side facing away from me. I lay down on my side of the bed, careful not to touch her, and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow, I'd meet Jenna Caldwell. Tomorrow, I'd sit across from Patricia Reeves and lay out everything I knew. Tomorrow, I'd start building my own case. But tonight, I lay next to my wife in the darkness, listening to her breathe, and wondered how many other nights she'd lain here planning my destruction while I slept beside her, oblivious. Not anymore. The coffee maker gurgled at 5:47 a.m., 3 hours earlier than my usual routine. I'd given up on sleep around 4, Emily's steady breathing beside me like sandpaper against my nerves. My phone buzzed. Jenna Caldwell. Can we meet this morning? I have work at 9 but could do 7 a.m. There's a Starbucks on Peachtree near the Brookhaven station. I typed back, I'll be there. Emily stirred when I slipped out of bed. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. Thought I'd get a jump on prep for the Riverside deposition. The lie came easier than it should have. She rolled over, already dismissing me. Don't forget Jack has soccer at 4. I'll be there. Another truth she wouldn't expect me to keep. Jenna Caldwell looked younger than I'd imagined. Mid-20s, dark circles under her eyes suggesting she'd slept about as well as I had. She sat in the corner booth, hands wrapped around a paper cup, knee bouncing under the table. She spotted me immediately. Something in my face must have matched whatever she'd been looking for. David? I nodded, sliding into the seat across from her. Up close, I could see the redness around her eyes, the picked-at cuticles. She'd been crying recently. "Thank you for meeting me." Her voice cracked slightly. "I wasn't sure you'd come. You said you had proof." She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. "Tyler's been different lately. Secretive. He'd get texts and smile at his screen, then delete them. He started working late, going into the office on weekends." She laughed bitterly. "All the cliches, right? I thought I was being paranoid." I said nothing. Let her tell it. "Last week, he left his laptop open. He was in the shower and I looked." She scrolled through her photos, stopped on one, then turned the screen toward me. Email thread. Tyler's firm account. The messages were between him and Emily, but these weren't the personal texts I'd found. These were work emails, except they weren't. From Emily Winters. To Tyler Brennan. Subject: Deposition prep. "Can't stop thinking about yesterday. Your place tonight? I told Dee I have a late client meeting." From Tyler Brennan. To Emily Winters. Subject: Deposition prep. 7 p.m. I'll order from that Italian place you like. The timestamp: 3 weeks ago. Jenna swiped to the next screenshot. More emails, dozens of them, going back 5 months, all disguised as work correspondence, all containing fragments of their affair buried in legitimate-looking subject lines. "There are more," she whispered. "I took screenshots of everything before he got out of the shower. Calendar invites for case review meetings that were really—" She stopped, swallowed hard. "How long have you known?" "A week." Her eyes widened. "Only a week? But you seem so calm?" "Cold." I took the phone from her, scrolled through the screenshots. The emails went back further than the texts I'd found. Emily had been more careful on her personal phone, deleting regularly. But apparently she'd felt safer using work email, probably assuming I'd never see it. Stupid. Arrogant. Perfect. "Can you send these to me?" Jenna nodded quickly. "I already created a shared folder. I'll give you access." She pulled out a piece of paper with a handwritten email address and password. "Burner account. Everything's there. I've been documenting for the past week. His location data, more emails I found, credit card statements showing hotel charges." I studied her. "Why are you doing this?" "Because he's still lying to me." Her voice hardened. "I confronted him 3 days ago, showed him the emails. He swore it was over, said it was a mistake, begged me not to leave him." She pulled up a text thread on her phone. "This is from yesterday afternoon. Tyler. Working late again. Don't wait up." She swiped to another app, location tracking. "He was at the Residence Inn on Piedmont, room 314. I drove by. Her car was there." The same hotel. The same room number I'd seen charged to Emily's credit card 2 days ago when I'd checked our statements. "I'm done protecting him," Jenna said. "And I thought you should know she's still lying to you too." Patricia Reeves's office smelled like leather and old money. She sat behind a mahogany desk at 8:30 a.m. sharp, reading glasses perched on her nose as she reviewed the tablet I'd handed her. "You've been busy," she said, after 10 minutes of silence. I had help. I explained about Jenna, the work emails, the continued affair. Patricia made notes on her legal pad. "The work email is particularly damaging. Using company resources for an affair, especially at a law firm, could trigger ethics violations. Does her firm have a fraternization policy?" "I looked it up last night. Associates and partners aren't supposed to engage in romantic relationships without disclosure to the ethics committee." "Has she disclosed?" "No." Patricia's smile was sharp. "Even better. And this woman, Jenna, she's willing to provide testimony? She wants to destroy him as much as I want to destroy Emily." "Scorned lovers make excellent allies." Patricia leaned back in her chair. "Here's what I'm thinking. We don't file immediately. We let her make the first move, let her think she's controlling the timeline. But we prepare everything now. I'll have the papers drafted, ready to file within hours of her serving you. What about the partnership? That's your decision. But consider this. If you withdraw now, it looks suspicious. She'll know something's wrong. Better to proceed as normal, accept the partnership if offered, and let her file thinking she's timed it perfectly. Patricia tapped her pen against the legal pad. Then we hit her with everything. The affair, the work emails, the ethics violations, the fact that she's been systematically deleting evidence of your parental involvement. We paint her as a calculating, manipulative opportunist who exploited her workplace relationship and betrayed her family. She'll lose her job. Possibly. At minimum, she'll face a disciplinary review. The firm won't appreciate the liability. Patricia met my eyes. Is that a problem for you? I thought about Emily in our bed, Tyler's hands on her. Emily deleting photos of me with our children. Emily planning my financial destruction while sleeping beside me each night. No. Good. Patricia made more notes. I'll need you to continue documenting everything. Her movements, her time with the children, any continued contact with Tyler. The tracking software stays active. And this Jenna, keep that relationship going. We'll need her testimony and we'll need her evidence. She's motivated. Hell hath no fury, Patricia murmured. One more thing. I want you to start keeping a detailed log of every interaction with your children. Time, activity, duration, photos, videos when appropriate. If Emily's building a case that you're an absent father, we're going to bury her under evidence to the contrary. My phone buzzed. Emily. Don't forget to pick up Jack's cleats from the store. Game at 4. I showed Patricia the text. She's reminding me about our son's soccer game. Reply normally. Maintain the facade. Patricia stood, extending her hand. We're going to war, David, but we're going to win. I picked up Jack's cleats at lunch, made it to his office by 3, and sat in the bleachers at 4 watching my son run drills. Emily arrived at 4:15, sliding onto the bench beside me with a travel mug of coffee. How was your day? She asked. Productive. Yours? Long. I had back-to-back client meetings all afternoon. The lie sat between us like a third person. I knew exactly where she'd been. The tracking software had pinged her phone at the Residence Inn from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Room 314 again. You look tired, I said. Just busy. She sipped her coffee, eyes on the field. The Brennan case is taking up a lot of time. The Brennan case? New associate, Tyler Brennan. He's working on a complex litigation matter. I'm supervising. Sounds demanding. It is. She smiled, squeezed my knee. But that's the job, right? Jack scored, and we both stood to cheer. Emily's hand found mine, her fingers lacing through my own. To anyone watching, we looked like a normal couple. Supportive, united. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, smiled slightly, then slipped it back into her purse. I already knew what the message said. Jenna had given me Tyler's passwords, too. Tyler. Tonight was amazing. Same time Thursday? Emily would reply later after I'd gone to bed. She'd confirm Thursday, suggest they try something different. She'd delete the message within minutes. But it wouldn't matter. I had copies of everything. Emily filed for divorce on March 14th, exactly 1 day after the partnership announcement. I'd made partner. The ceremony included champagne, handshakes, and congratulations I barely registered. Emily had kissed my cheek in front of everyone, her performance flawless. 24 hours later, a process server appeared at my office door. I read through the papers with manufactured shock, called Patricia from my car, and listened to her barely concealed satisfaction. She filed in Fulton County, requesting primary custody, the house, and 60% of assets including your new partner distribution. She's also asking for alimony based on your increased income. When do we respond? Tomorrow morning. I'll have our counterfiling ready by 9 a.m. Emily moved out that weekend, taking Olivia and Jack to her mother's house in Marietta. She'd arranged it carefully, told the kids that Daddy and Mommy needed some space, that it was temporary, that everything would be fine. Olivia cried. Jack asked if it was his fault. I held them both in the driveway, watching Emily load suitcases into her SUV, and took photos of their tear-stained faces. Evidence. Everything was evidence now. On Monday, Patricia filed our response. By Tuesday afternoon, Emily's attorney called requesting an emergency meeting. We met in a conference room downtown. Emily sat across from me with her lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman named Rebecca Walsh, who specialized in high-asset divorces. Emily looked confident, prepared. That lasted about 5 minutes. Patricia slid a folder across the table. Before we begin settlement discussions, my client would like to address certain factual inaccuracies in Mrs. Winter's filing. Rebecca opened the folder. I watched Emily's face as her attorney flipped through the contents. Screenshots of text messages, work emails, location data, hotel receipts, the photos from our bedroom. The color drained from Emily's cheeks. What is this? Rebecca's voice had gone flat. Documentation of Mrs. Winters' 4-month affair with Tyler Brennan, an associate at her firm, Patricia said calmly, including evidence that she used company email for personal communications, violated firm ethics policies regarding workplace relationships, and engaged in systematic parental alienation by deleting photographic evidence of Mr. Winters' involvement with their children. Emily found her voice. You've been spying on me? The family iPad syncs automatically, I said. You set it up yourself. And the tracking software? I installed it on your phone with your permission when we agreed to share locations for safety purposes. Remember? After that conference in Miami? She stared at me, and I watched the realization hit. Everything she'd done, every careful step, I documented. We also have a witness prepared to testify, Patricia continued. Jenna Caldwell, Mr. Brennan's girlfriend, who discovered the affair independently and has provided corroborating evidence. Rebecca closed the folder. We need a recess. Of course, Patricia's smile was glacial. Take all the time you need. They came back 30 minutes later. Emily's eyes were red, her composure cracked. Rebecca spoke first. My client is willing to discuss revised terms. The negotiation took 3 hours. Emily agreed to joint custody with equal parenting time. She withdrew her request for the house, for alimony, for anything beyond an equitable split of assets. In exchange, we agreed not to provide the evidence to her firm's ethics committee. Emily signed the revised agreement with shaking hands. As we left the conference room, she grabbed my arm. David, please, can we talk? I looked at her hand on my sleeve, then at her face. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. There's nothing to say. I made a mistake. I was confused, and Tyler was waiting in the car? I pulled my arm free. He's downstairs, isn't he? Jenna's tracking him. Room 314 at the Residence Inn is apparently booked for tonight. Her mouth opened, closed. You didn't love me, I said quietly. Maybe you did once, but not for a long time. And that would have been enough reason to leave. You didn't need to destroy me first. I never wanted to hurt you. You wanted my money. There's a difference. I walked away, leaving her standing in the hallway. The divorce was finalized on June 3rd. 3 months from filing to final decree. Remarkably fast, Patricia assured me, but possible when both parties cooperated. Emily moved into a condo in Buckhead. Tyler moved in with her 2 weeks later. Jenna had dumped him the day after our conference room meeting, posting the evidence of his affair on social media before blocking him everywhere. His reputation at the firm never recovered. Emily resigned from her position in July, citing personal reasons. I heard through mutual acquaintances that the ethics committee had opened an investigation anyway. Someone had sent them an anonymous tip. I didn't ask Patricia if she knew anything about that. The kids adjusted slowly. Therapy helped. Dr. Rachel Nguyen specialized in children of divorce, and both Olivia and Jack saw her weekly. They split time between my house and Emily's condo, and I made sure every moment they were with me counted. Soccer games, science projects, movie nights where we built blanket forts and ate too much popcorn. I took a step back at work, delegated more, protected my evenings and weekends. Olivia asked me once, about 3 months after the divorce, if I was lonely. We were making pancakes on a Saturday morning, Jack still asleep upstairs. Sometimes, I admitted, flipping a pancake. Are you? She considered this, her face serious in that way 11-year-olds get when they're trying to seem older. Sometimes, but it's better than before. Better how? You and Mom were pretending. We could tell. She poured more batter onto the griddle. Now nobody's pretending. I ran into Jenna Caldwell at a coffee shop in November, 8 months after our first meeting. She was with someone new, a tall guy with glasses who held the door for her and made her laugh. She saw me, hesitated, then walked over. David, hi. Jenna. I gestured to her companion. You look happy. I am. This is Andrew. She introduced us, and we shook hands. How are you? How are the kids? Good. Better. It was true. Jack had stopped asking when Mom and Dad were getting back together. Olivia had started smiling again. I'm glad. She meant it. And Emily. Still with Tyler, last I heard. Jenna's expression hardened briefly, then cleared. Well, they deserve each other. Andrew excused himself to order, and Jenna lowered her voice. I wanted to say thank you for not mentioning me in the settlement. Rebecca tried to subpoena me, but your attorney shut it down. You helped me when you didn't have to. I wasn't going to burn you for it. Still, she touched my arm briefly. I hope you find someone who deserves you. You too. She smiled. I think maybe I did. I watched her rejoin Andrew, watched them leave together, and felt something loosen in my chest. Not everyone got a second chance, but some people did. Emily and Tyler's relationship ended sometime around Christmas. I only knew because Olivia mentioned that Mom's friend Tyler doesn't come around anymore. I didn't ask for details. Emily started dating someone new in the spring, a dentist named Robert who seemed decent enough when I met him at Jack's birthday party. He was polite, appropriate with the kids, and clearly aware of the situation. Emily looked nervous when she introduced us, like she expected me to make a scene. I shook Robert's hand and welcomed him. Later, Emily caught me alone by the cake table. Thank you for being civil. He seems nice. He is. She paused. I'm sorry, David, for everything. I know I've said it before, but Emily, I cut her off gently. We're good. We're co-parenting our kids, and that's what matters now. The rest is done. She nodded, tears in her eyes. You're a better person than me. I didn't argue. 2 years after the divorce, I sold the house. Too many memories, too many rooms that echoed. I bought a smaller place closer to the kids' school, with a backyard big enough for a trampoline and a treehouse Jack had been begging for. Olivia helped me paint her new room purple. Jack insisted on superhero bedding. We had dinner together every night I had them. No phones, no distractions, just us, talking about school and friends and whatever mattered in their world. I dated occasionally. Nothing serious, nothing that I brought around the kids. I wasn't in a hurry. Patricia Reeves sent me a bottle of scotch on the anniversary of the divorce finalization, with a note. To winning the war and finding the peace. I poured a glass that night, sitting on my back porch while the kids slept upstairs, and thought about the screenshot that had changed everything. That moment in my office, staring at my wife's betrayal on an iPad screen. I could have confronted her immediately, could have raged and broken things and burned everything down in a spectacular explosion. Instead, I'd waited, documented, planned. Some people would call that cold, calculated. I called it survival. The thing about betrayal is that it teaches you who you are when everything falls apart. Some people crumble, some people lash out, some people retreat. I learned I was the kind of person who got methodical, who protected what mattered, my kids, my future, my dignity, and let the rest burn. Emily had wanted to destroy me on her timeline for her benefit. She'd planned it carefully, thinking I was too busy, too trusting, too oblivious to notice. She'd been wrong, and in the end, the person she'd destroyed was herself. I didn't take pleasure in that, didn't celebrate her failures or her pain, but I didn't regret protecting myself either. The screenshot had changed everything, but not in the way Emily had intended when she'd carelessly synced her iCloud to the family iPad. It had given me the truth, and the truth, however painful, was better than living a lie. 3 years post-divorce, Jack asked me if I thought I'd ever get married again. We were throwing a baseball in the backyard, the evening light golden through the trees. Maybe, I said. If I met the right person, why? He caught the ball, held it. Would we have to call her mom? No, you have a mom. Good. He threw the ball back. But it would be okay if you found someone, someone who makes you happy. I caught the ball, felt my throat tighten. Thanks, buddy. Just not someone who takes selfies in your bedroom with random dudes. I nearly dropped the ball. What? Olivia told me about why you and Mom got divorced. He shrugged, uncomfortable but trying to seem casual. We're not little kids anymore, Dad. We get it. I stood there, baseball in hand, looking at my son, 12 now, almost as tall as my shoulder, growing into someone I was proud of. I'm sorry you had to know that. It's okay, he kicked at the grass. Mom messed up, but she's doing better now, and you're happy. So it worked out, I guess. Such simple wisdom from someone so young. Yeah, I said. I guess it did. We threw the ball until the light faded and Olivia called us in for dinner. The moral of the story isn't complicated. Trust is earned, not assumed. And when someone shows you who they really are, through their actions, their choices, their betrayals, believe them. Emily had shown me exactly who she was. Someone who valued money over honesty, strategy over integrity, personal desire over family commitment. I'd believed her, and I'd acted accordingly. Not with rage or revenge, but with cold, clear-eyed protection of what mattered most. My children still had 2 parents who loved them. They had stability, therapy, and the truth delivered in age-appropriate doses. I had my dignity, my career, and the knowledge that I'd fought for my family even when my marriage couldn't be saved. Emily had Tyler for a while, then Robert, then whoever came next. Maybe she'd learned something. Maybe she hadn't. It wasn't my problem anymore. The screenshot that changed everything had given me a gift, in the end. Clarity. And clarity, I learned, was worth more than any marriage built on lies. I moved forward. I rebuilt. I became the father my kids deserved and the man I'd always wanted to be. The rest was just noise.